Welcome to the Get Out In It podcast, keeping our mental and physical well-being balanced by heading out into nature and doing stuff.
The activity isn't important. Walk, run, hike, bike, whatever it is, just find something you enjoy and get out in it. The point of this podcast is to show how ordinary people can achieve extraordinary levels of health and fitness.
Out here, we'll share informal, inclusive advice for anyone trying to improve their mental and physical well-being, based on our own experiences and professional knowledge from our special guests.
So let's lace up and get out in it.
And here we are. Welcome to episode 15, and what a week it has been. How are you, Maria Herring?
I'm very well, James Bell. Thanks very much. Better this week than last week, I think.
Why?
Because I've been doing a lot more movement this week, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. How are you?
I'm very well. I'm actually in a very positive place myself, as you well know. Things are improving. You know, there's stories to tell, but they're probably for later in the podcast. First thing I've got to ask you is, what have you done this week? And I'm going to enjoy this. What have you done this week to get out in it?
Got out in it. I've done fuck tons this week to get out in it. I have set myself a ridiculous August challenge to run 10K every single day of this month to make up for the fact I did absolutely nothing during July. So today is August the 5th. So it was my 5th day of running 10K. So yeah, I've done loads to get out in it this week. Cool.
And how's it feeling?
Not bad. Well, I did roll my ankle this morning, which was a little bit of a dicky thing to do. But it was completely my fault because I wasn't paying attention to where I was running on the trails. So I rolled my ankle. But it was okay. I finished the run without any issues. And tomorrow, I think I'm going to run in the evening so that I have a chance to rest my ankle.
I did notice the rolled ankle as your social media minion who does the posting for you. I did notice that. I hope it's not too bad and it's
all right.
It's recovered quickly.
Yeah, that'd be fine. Be absolutely fine. What about you though? What have you done this week to get out in it?
Well, I'm really starting to build up a little bit now. I've got we'll save a lot of this for the Let's Be Honest feature at the end of the show, but things are moving. I'm doing a run every other day. I've started weightlifting again as of today, actually, and my rehab sessions have gone up another notch. So things are looking very positive, and it's all moving in the right direction finally. And
nice.
I got some exciting news for the Let's Be Honest bit, but you know, because Let's Be Honest isn't just negative, is it? It's not just let's be honest about the things that are bad. It's actually, you know, we can put the good stuff in there, can't we?
Totally. Yeah, of course.
Well, there you go. I'll save some of that for later in the pod. First of all, though, we have got an exciting conversation to have with someone that I've known for a while and someone that I met on an adventure a couple of years ago who's a professional marathon runner. And we had a chat with him, didn't we?
We did. And he's a fun guy. I liked Frank.
Indeed. So let's drop it in.
Let's go on a hike and a chat with Frank.
Getting into it. So this week, we are lucky to be joined by Frank Schauer, a German professional long-distance runner from Leipzig. I met Frank at the sub-7, sub-8 triathlon event more than a year ago now, and I've been keeping an eye on what he's been up to ever since. Frank, it's great to have you here, mate. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, guys. And it's nice to be here. I'm a professional marathon runner. And I started running like over 25 years ago. And I would like to talk a little bit about that and everything. Yeah.
Cool. And how's things with you at the moment? How's life?
So yeah, I had a crazy idea last year that I ran like marathon for the last 14 years, and I had a crazy moment last year, or not like to try the 100 kilometers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
That's not a
we
crazy
approve.
idea.
That's a brilliant
And-
idea.
And so in January, February, I went for training camp and tried to train for it, or had a really good training camp there, and everything worked out. After 2 months, I came back, and unfortunately, on my first fast session, I got a calf injury and struggled then for 2 months and couldn't really run. And so now I'm on my way back, I hope. And I'm now back in good training. So like around 200 kilometers a week, like 120, 130 miles per week. And so hoping to get a good second half of the year and coming back.
And have you put the
Nice.
silly idea of a 100-kilometer race out of your brain? Has that gone away, or are you still going to reach towards that goal?
No, I it's not out of my brain. So like maybe I'm thinking about to run 100K this year also, but just to run it because I need to get the experience for the 100K, my body to know what's happening after 60, 70, 80 kilometers. And so I said, like, maybe I try it this year, just no big goals, just running. And next year there are world champs, 100 kilometers. And so that's a big goal next year. And this year I want to run the 100K, maybe just to go through it. And then my main goal is a marathon in fall, basically. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Nice. So like 100K as in just training runs as opposed to doing a 100K event.
Yeah, I will do an event, but I take it like it's probably 4 weeks before the marathon. So
Right.
I take it like it will be a long run, but it will be a little bit harder than a long run. So
Nice.
it will be tough probably. So my longest run I ever ran was 62 kilometers. And so we will see how it goes from there. And
So before we get
exciting.
Mm-hmm.
into the meat of the episode, the first question I have to ask every guest that comes on is, what have you done this week to get out in it?
My training this week was today I did 30 kilometers or basically 20 miles, and also yesterday I did 30 kilometers. So my goal this week is to do like four long runs this week to get my fitness up. Not many fast sessions, just running and keep the mileage up and getting in shape. Yeah.
Nice. And when you do your running, where do you go? Do you do like trails? Do you do road? Are you on a treadmill?
No, not treadmill in the summer. So basically, mostly roads. So like
Okay.
I'm coming from the road running marathon, just on the road. We have not many hills here, so it's usually like flat road or a little bit of dirt road or anything. So like I try to switch it up. We have like great big lakes where I live, and so I can go around them. It's a lot of tarmac road, and so a lot of options. So, but usually everything is flat. No trails. No, just flat roads, and
So easy stuff.
Yeah.
So my first question was going to be what distances you focus on, but we've already established a marathon is your priority, and you're looking at running 100K at some point. Do you run across the spectrum? Do you do 5Ks, 10Ks, half marathons, and then this 100K idea, or do you focus solely on the marathon distance?
So I want to switch now from marathon to main 100 kilometers. So in the last years, or the last 14 years, my main distance was marathon. And now like the guys in Germany getting so fast that I said, I can't win anything in Germany anymore. So like it's we have like 6-7 people now who can run under 2:10. So my PB is 2 hours, 30 minutes and 41 seconds. And maybe I run it to 12 or to 11 if everything went great, but I'm not gonna run under 2:10 anymore. So I said, like, now is a perfect time to switch to 100 kilometers. And it was a little bit unfortunate that didn't work out yet, but that's the main goal. So I'm not turn away from marathon running, but the main distance will be 100 kilometers now.
Where did you set that PB?
My PB was last year after the sub-7 sub-8 where we met.
Nice.
So or like 3 months after in Berlin, but it's a Berlin marathon last year. It was a long. I did a marathon in the first half of the year, so in Hanover. I got second in the German champs there with 2:14:43. So I beat my PB there too, like from 5 years ago. And so in Berlin, I beat it again. So it was very nice years last year. So yeah.
And with a PB of that time, where did you place in the professional ranks? Because I know Berlin's a fast race, isn't it?
Yeah, I got 24th in Berlin and second fastest German.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Who was the first fastest German?
Yes, he was a guy named Haftum Veda. He has 2:09 on the marathon.
Okay,
yeah.
fairly swift then.
Yeah, and it was much more nice. I had a good friend. I know him, like he's a good marathon runner too, and I know him like since he was 12 and I was 17. He's like 5 years younger than me. And we run against each other the second time in the marathon. And I caught him at 39K, and he's like, should have run 3 minutes faster than me, but he had a bad day. And then so I caught him. We shook hands at 39, and then I gone. So,
nice.
But I said after the marathon, I said to him, that's the last time I'm gonna catch you in the marathon again. So I don't want to see you behind me again.
Oh, but you guys are running your full marathons like 10 or 15 minutes faster, slower than I'm running my half. That's mental for me.
So to this point in your career, I mean, obviously your PB was a big day, but where have you had your best races and your best experiences?
So I started marathon running really, really early. So basically I was 20 years old, and I failed my first marathon attempt with 20. Then I got injured. Then I ran my first 2 marathon. I died so hard. So every time the second half was like hell. so I had a split of like 6 minutes slower. So I wanted to go for 2:24 or something. And my second half was always like 6 minutes slower, and it felt like I was so dead. And then in like nearly 10 years ago in 2013, I ran the German championships marathon in Munich, and I had a PB of 2:26 there, and so I was like a little bit of an underdog basically. And at half marathon, we were a group of like 8 to 10 people, and at 25, suddenly the whole group was like 10 meters behind me, and I said like, "Okay, I tried now." And I won the race in 2 hours, 18 minutes, and 54 seconds, and got German champ. So I think that was my biggest race, my most unexpected. Then 4 years later, I ran 2:16:30 and nearly qualified for European Championships. It was a little bit closer, and a lot of guys ran faster after that. And then last year was really great. So that was the 3 big races. So every time I got a medal in the German champs. So in 2017, I got the third place in German champs, and last year I got second. So I got this full set of medals.
Nice.
What is life like as a professional marathon runner? How many races do you do a year before you overload yourself? I mean, are you running every day? Is there any cross training? All these questions.
So I'm a guy who runs a lot of mileage. So that's the reason why I do want to do the 100K, because I always running like 250 kilometers. I don't know exactly what the miles that is. So in the marathon preparation, so I'm used to running like more than marathon distance in training. And so what was the question? Sorry.
I'm just wondering what life as a professional marathon runner is like.
Oh, yeah.
You training
right.
a huge amount, racing a huge amount.
No, yeah, exactly. Yeah. So usually, in this year I did last year I did like 2 marathons, and that's basically the rule. So we have like a 12-week marathon preparation, and we try to focus on one day, and this is the day, and then we have to deliver, and then we're taking like 2 to 4 weeks off, and usually then you have to start again. And so there's not much space to do more than 2 marathons in a year, because like because the muscles and the bones and everything are really, really hurting after that. And so with the speed, so like we're running in with like 310 per kilometer, and so that's really tough. So so usually we run like 2 times a year. Yeah,
310 is about my minute interval pace.
Yeah. I don't think I could do that for like 42K. That's mental.
So we talked about your objective changing now over to the 100K. Like the 100K, is that going to be road, or are you going to move towards a bit of a trail running as well, or is it 100K on the road?
No, it's on the road. So I'm the guy who want to run the 100K fast. So probably maybe I want to run in Austria, and there's probably the race I will be choosing has a loop of 1.3K, so a little bit less than a mile, and they're 100 kilometers. So it's 80 laps.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But it's mostly flat, and yeah. It's a little bit different from the marathon because it's like 100K is a little bit of more of a niche distance, and so there are not so many people, and you have to a lot of drinks and food and everything. So like the loops are usually not too big, and so like that's only like 1.3K loop.
And what do you think your time will be for running a 100K?
So the goals are the German record is like 6 hours and 24 minutes. So it's around 350 on the K. So
wow.
Yeah. So 610 mile, like 610 mile.
So you're aiming for a 5:59 then, eh? To take it out of that subset.
We will see. At the first, it's a German record. It's the first goal, and then we will see what happens the next years. Yeah. So I think with my running capabilities, so like the times with like the world record got broken like in May again, like it's 6:05, so like it's around 3:39 on the K. So it's a little bit faster than 6-minute mile, and I think so with my running capabilities, it could be possible, but it's still I have to train for it. Everything has to work out. It's 100K. You need to prepare your body for the calorie deficit, the water to take the water in and everything. So that's will be a new experience basically, and yeah. So we will see how it works out.
Exciting.
We run trail ultras, so it's a very different kind of approach to that. All we do is walk up hills eating banana bread and worrying about running down the other side.
It's not the same beast.
It's not the same beast. Not at all. So being that you've had a bit of time off with injury this year and you're just building back into your season now, we thought we'd take the opportunity to have a chat with you around injury and focus and how, what that journey as a professional athlete, but also reflected down into the amateur ranks like us, what it's like being injured and having to have time off and how you cope with it. So first of all, I suppose we'll start with what was your injury and how did you do it to yourself?
Yeah, so in Kenya, I had a really good, so the first 2 months, January, February, I did a lot of mileage, like 250, 280 kilometers, and still with a good speed sessions and everything. And so I mixed a little bit the marathon prep with a 100-kilometer prep and was like in shape for a marathon too. And so I came back and did my first fast session here. And I did a 15K tempo run in 310 per kilometers, and I started and like my calf was hurting, and I like wondering, why is that? I just pushed it the whole way through it, and like after the 15K I felt like something isn't right, and so my calf was really hurting, and usually it's like you're always having some problems. It's hurting a little bit there, hurting a little bit there, and so you say like, tomorrow it will be fine. And then so it wasn't fine on the next day. So that was really annoying. And so like, then I took some days off from running, and and I came to the conclusion that probably I had this before. My calf bone on the outside, I don't know how it's called exactly, has a stress fracture probably. And so my muscles had to take up the failing structure, and so and everything got tight there, and so I couldn't run really, and so I had to wait until the bone is healed, and then I could start running again, and I had it before, and it was taking like 8 weeks, and it was basically the same now. So I had to take 8 weeks off, and so I gone a little bit in the water, but like you feel it there too, and so like the bone on the outside is like you don't use it too much, but it's like hurting if you go on the bike, if you're running, if you're on the water and use your foot and moving it up and down, it makes problems. So I couldn't really do much. So,
oh my goodness!
yeah.
But did they have to put it in a plaster or something like that? How did they heal that?
No, that's no. It's like it's not broken. It's only like small fractures in the bone. So like it's not broken through, but it's like the bone is structurally impaired, basically. Yeah.
They're like tiny little hairline cracks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they can't do anything else for that. You just have to let it. No.
Yeah. You can't do much. So like there's some therapies, but you don't never know if it helps too much. But yeah, the best help is taking the day off, basically. Yeah, or taking
which sucks if you enjoy running.
Yeah, it was like I said to myself, okay, now it was I decided, so I tried to keep the training up and on the bike, but it still was like hurting, and I tried again to run, and after like 3 days it came back, and so I said, okay, let's put it aside, take off now, end the season, or end the first half of the year, the season for the first half of the year, and then start again when the calf is healed. So that was the goal. It was really, it's always tough to cancel a race. So if you with a big goal now and everything, the shape was good and everything, and then now it was like, I decided in the beginning of April, and then I had to like take another 4 weeks off already, having like 3 or 4 weeks not really training, and so yeah, that was a little bit tough. But the 4 weeks off was my first time, I think, in 5 years I took such a long time off. So it was a little bit good too. So yeah.
Okay. So I was going to say, how did you feel during that time? If you were off all those weeks, couple of months, did that affect your mental health a little bit, or did you just do some other stuff that you'd missed out on because you constantly trained for marathons?
How many donuts did you eat in that time?
I don't eat much donuts, but I definitely gained some weight, definitely, but because I couldn't train at all, and if you're like switching up with training and not training anymore, you always gain weight. That's so normal. So I still struggle a little bit with that still too. So like it's like when you take like 1.5 months off, it's like 5, 6, 7, 8 kilograms. So that's normal, and yeah. So now I'm trying to get him back, getting the weight back down to my goal, and then yeah. So yeah.
And how did you deal with it mentally? Because it's something I'm currently going through an injury myself. I've got a tendonitis in my hip flexor, and I haven't been able to run for 2.5 months now. I'm slowly bringing myself back up. But for me, when I'm injured like that and I can't do anything, I really struggle, because I'm like, well, I can't train. I might as well just sit about and eat all the food. I don't have that balance very, very nailed down. Do you struggle mentally with that period of downtime?
Not the period of the downtime. So the most struggle was probably the beginning. So my biggest injury I always have is Achilles. And that's the reason, because my right calf got injured, probably because my left Achilles making problems. And so the 4 weeks for taking off was fine. But when I started, it was hurting there. You're running slow. You everything making problems, and the Achilles isn't good, and you struggle to run like a pace you ran before, and that I think that was mentally the hardest. Now the 4 weeks off, it's like I said, you have to say to yourself, okay, I wait until it's healed and then I go again. So that will be fine. But the way back is like, that was the hardest part of it, I think. Yes. So.
And what about, how did you spend your time as a man who's used to training, like you say, huge mileage every week? when that's suddenly taken away, what did you do with your days?
Yeah, so like the first 2 weeks, probably I took like completely off. I didn't. So like holidays at home. Basically, I didn't do anything at all. Basically, so like watching some TV series over the day, like just relaxing. So this is the first. So usually my whole year is like always training. I don't have a day off usually, except when I'm forced to take a day off. So it's sometimes it's nice to the first 2 weeks was like more like calming down a bit after always being like training and 2 times a day. And so first 2 weeks were easily, and then I had like I have a small job, so I had to do something there. So then that was a little bit helping to get the mind of running. And then there was a race where my club is from, or I helped them a weekend a little bit, and so I have always something to do. So it was fine then. So like yeah.
What about the rehabilitation process? I mean, we all know that you don't just rest and then pick up exactly where you left off. Was there a point where you started to taper in, and how did that go?
So yeah, the first three weeks I was like doing like the first week was like 70 kilometers. So basically running 1 time a day, and then 10 to 12 kilometers. And so it's for a normal person, it's really tough to do that like that. But I'm running for like 20 years, and like even if you don't run for 2 months, 10 kilometers is basically fine. But
Okay.
so I was feeling my Achilles and everything. So then second week I did like 80 kilometers, third week like 100 kilometers. Then I took an easy week. And then the next 3-4 weeks was like 130, 140 kilometers. Then an easy week again. And the next 4 weeks was like 160 to 180 kilometers. And now I'm basically back to last week was my first 200 kilometers in my first 200 kilometer week in since my injury, basically. Yeah.
And how do you feel? How do you feel now? Do you feel like it never happened?
No, basically not yet. So I got a treatment for my Achilles also in between. So I had like my own blood got into my Achilles again, like it's called ACP or something, or your part of your blood get injected into your Achilles. And so I have to take off 2 days for that again. And then it was like a little bit hurting. And the injection was the syringe was really hurtful. And so it was a little bit tough after that. So
they extracted your own blood, they spin it up to increase the oxygen cells, and then they re-inject it into the injured area. And that helps stimulate recovery. Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah. So I don't want to go to an operation with Achilles. And so I had that like 3-4 years ago. And so I said, come on, I try it again. I have the time now, and why not to do it now? And maybe if I can, that's the big problem. I don't use my left side as much as my right side, and that's a little bit because of the Achilles. I always see it on my shoes or everything. So that's a little bit of a problem, because that's the reason why I got injured in the calf. Yeah.
Is that something you can try and fix? Do you incorporate weight training, strength training into your program? Are you trying to alter that and bring that balance back to your body, or not?
Not much. I've never been really into weight training. So
Frank, you got to lift the weights, mate. You got to lift the weights.
It's the wrong thing to say to James.
Usually when I do like 250 kilometers a week, I don't want to do too much more strength training. And so that's so usually my coach always said, do a little bit mobility and everything, but then after like you come from a 30 or 40K and then strength training, I don't want to do it.
Mate, the deadlift is the cure all for everything. You got to get those single leg squats on the go. So I mean, we wanted to talk about the process of injury, and Maria is, I'll let you take this. Shall I, Maria?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a really new runner. I've only been doing it for just over 2 years. But I do love the longer distances. I've taken quite quickly to ultra trails. Probably mostly because there's a lot of walking. It's not all running. So I really, really dig that. And I have been quite lucky, despite the fact that all of the trails I practice on around my house, they're really, really technical. There's quite a lot of steep ups and downs. But I have never had injury, which I think is quite lucky. And I would just wanted to know if you have any recommendations for me and for any of our listeners, any recommend to avoid injury or to keep injury to the minimal while we train.
So I would say I'm not a guy who's got injured too much. So I had like 3 injuries in the last 14 years.
Nice.
And I'm usually like this, like, and mainly it's come from the not the injury prevention, especially the training to do a lot of I'm a guy who doing a lot of mileage to get my body ready for the harder sessions, basically. So I'm taking my time. So last week I had a bit of problems. I said, okay, no speed session this week. I only did normal runs and 2 long runs and nothing else. So like I did 10 times 15K last week and 2 times 30K basically the last to get my body used to running again. And so that I think that's a little bit of the key to getting not injured, is just to get your body used to running and not concentrate on the speed too much, and so just running and getting your body used to it, and then the speed comes after. And that's usually I think that's the biggest problem for most people, that they run too fast and then the strain of the body is really, really high on the muscles and on the bones, and that's usually the reason they're getting injured, and the body isn't prepared for the whole sessions and everything. So yeah.
So longer, slower runs as opposed to faster.
No, not even, or maybe do like it's not for normal runners usually not possible, but like maybe like 2 times 10K a day or something, like to get your body used to it. But it's not for everyone possible to do two runs a day. So that's then just gonna keeps the speed down and try to get your body used to it. Yeah.
Nice. Okay. I like that advice. Yeah. Be slow. I can do that. I can be slow.
And not being afraid to adapt your program. Like you say, last week you felt a little bit off, so you got rid of the speed work, and you're not tied to what you said you're going to do, but you can listen to your body and go forward based on that feeling.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Usually we are a little, or I'm a little bit bound by what's my goal. And if you have time and your goal is so far, still far away, like 12 weeks to the marathon now. So I have the time to say, okay, I don't need the speed work yet. I just do normal runs to get my body used to it. And then just taking your time and thinking about it. Okay, do I really need the speed work now, or just can I get fit and try to get my body used to all the training and all the moving and everything? Yeah.
So how do you like the sound of that, Maria? Because Maria's currently doing an entirety of August 10K a day challenge. How do you feel about two times 10K a day?
2 times 10K a day? Fucking hell. I'm on day 2 and I woke up this morning and I was like, oh, I have to run again. But it's not the running that that bothers me. It's the warm-up that I have to do beforehand. Because like I'm a bit older than most people. I'm aware of that. So I always do like a sort of 15-20 minute warm up before I go out for my run, even if it's just a little 10K. And it's that annoys me, because it's like, I just want to go out and run, but I have to do this warm up. But no, I don't know if I could do 2 times 10K a day for the entirety of August. I think by the end of the week, I'd be like, nah, fuck it. It's too much.
2 times 15 is a good distance too. So
2 times 15.
I'm usually known to by all the German guys. Like my coach always had me do, my easy day was always 2 times 15K a day. So
easy day.
Yeah, my easy day is 2 times 15K. Yeah.
There you go, Maria. Aren't you glad you came for this chat?
Oh my God. I mean, I guess I'm building up for, I've got an 80K ultra in October. This is why I'm doing this 10K day challenge, because last month my training took a massive hit because I was away for kids sports camps and then on holidays and stuff. So my training was really bad in July. So the reason why I'm doing this 10K day challenge for August is to build my base fitness back up again. Because I've got this 80K ultra in October. So I think in September I'm going to have to start doing 2 times 15K, aren't I? Oh,
So,
my goodness.
what advice would you have for anybody out there who is going through a period of injury at the moment? If you're being sidelined, what would you do to keep your mind going, to keep your positivity in place?
Yeah, so basically, do not worry too much about it. It's always time to come back, and then when you come back, take your time. Don't rush it. Don't set your goals too close. Like, don't. I had, like, especially for example, I wanted to run a 10K last week, and I canceled it also because I wasn't ready yet. So don't rush it. Take your time, and then and while you're injured, try to heal. Go take some go to some physiotherapy or something, like get it fixed fairly quick, and then you like try to start easy and take it easy.
I think that's sound advice, James. James, you need to listen to that. Take your time, take it easy. It will come back.
I did spend yesterday evening eyeing up the registration page for that 80K in October, thinking like, I reckon I could still do. I still got
Don't
this.
do it.
I reckon I could.
Do it,
I don't want to
James.
miss that. I don't want to miss that party. I don't want to miss that party. So when is from this point, Frank? How long until your first race back, where you'll actually be pushing yourself as hard as you can?
Well, probably the marathon in fall, so it's not in end of October probably. So
where is that?
It's not finalized yet. So
okay.
Yeah.
Right.
So
a mystery marathon.
Yeah, no. So that's the big goal this fall basically, and maybe there's another 10K German Championships on the 10th of September. But I will see how my training goes, and if I'm fit again for that, or if I just do the 100K before the 4 weeks before, and just that's my next bigger race, especially, or we will see. So like I didn't plan too much. I want to run like a 50K in 2.5 weeks, like for training, basically. So like we have in Leipzig there's a 50K and a 100K run, and so I said, oh, I could train there as a 50K run. It's nice. So I don't have to run alone maybe, or have the drinks to get the drinks is a little bit easier. And so, yeah. So nice. I said like 50K there. Then there's a local race where I run like from my club, a 10K race, but it's more like a training race more than a real competition with a real goal. Like I want to run fast there, but not a PB basically. Yeah.
Okay. So because I was going to ask, if you're running your marathons in like 2 hours 10 minutes, how fast are you running a 10K?
My 10K PB is 29:15. So
shut the front door.
2:56 on the K. Yeah.
Mental.
Yeah.
So when you're running a professional marathon and you're in a group of elites and you're all running together, you've got an idea of what your personal best is. You've got an idea of what your average time is over that distance. So I'm assuming you've got a real understanding of what pace you can run at. If you're feeling like you're pushing too hard, do you run to pace? Are you running to heart rate? What are you taking all these variables into account as you're running? What makes you decide whether I'm feeling really good today? I'm just gonna fucking go for it.
So usually it's like you train for your event, and I decide like 1.5 weeks before which half marathon, half time goal I'm setting me, and then I take this group. So I train for like 25 years or like the 14 years marathon, and there's like the range what I can do is really, really small basically. So I'm on top of my limit what my body can handle basically. So there's not much you can run faster than like I can't run the first half in 3-minute pace. then I never finish the marathon. So so I know that before, and then there's a group which pace I want to run, and then I join the group and try to keep on and try to save some energy and try to take it easy the first half. And then if I feel good, I always can do the second half a little bit faster if possible. Usually it's basically the same if everything went fine. And if you have a great day, then you run like 30 seconds, 40 seconds faster in the second half. But usually it's not much more than that. So you have, after so many years of experience, I can rate myself really, really close to the goal, basically. Yeah.
And what about the 100K distance? Because you haven't got that experience.
Yeah.
So how long is it going to take you to build up a depth of knowledge so you can pace yourself over that?
Yeah, I think so. Like I don't know. So what I said, like I don't know what's happening after 70 kilometers. So I ran a 60 kilometers in training and it in 3:57 on the K. So it felt fine. It was in altitude always, also like in Kenya. So probably running at home a little bit faster than that still too. And yeah, and then it's a competition. So I don't really know, but like I have to learn probably. So like if it's fine to run as fast as like 3:45 on the K or 3:40, but I think that's a training thing. So when I wanted to run the 100K in April, I wanted to do my longest one would have been a 70K, but I got injured like the 5 days before that. So I think that would have been a really good training to see what I really can do in the 100K. So like how I'm feeling, and yeah. So I'm a guy I'm a competition guy. So I know when I run something in training, that's so far away from my competition time. So usually a marathon, for example, I can only run like a half marathon to maybe 25 kilometers the marathon pace in training, basically. So that's the maximum I can do in training. So
okay,
yeah.
so like you say, you'd go and run a 70K, and then that last 30K on race day would be a bit of a mystery box. What's going to happen to Frank over that last 30K?
So I think also there the ingestion of food and everything, that will be the toughest challenge for me, because it's still like not a slow running pace. So it's so I have to run like basically like 16 kilometers an hour and still have to take everything into me. Like a marathon, marathon it's fine too, but maybe in the 100K I eat and drink a little bit more than in a marathon. And so yeah, that will be a bigger challenge, I think, too. So like that you didn't get any deficit or anything there. Yeah.
And have you changed what kinds of things you're consuming? Because I mean, assuming over a marathon distance you're using your drinks and gels. Over a longer distance, have you got a big slice of banana bread?
Yeah, I try to train it a little bit in the preparation of the 100K, but I didn't figure it out like 100%. So I probably so I usually take gels in marathon, but like always in training, it was like gels wasn't like the best thing. So I think it's like more like water with water and the carbohydrates in it. Then gels and then water on it. So like I think I stick to I will be more like taking the fluids with the carbohydrates than all the gels, I think. So that was my conclusion. So yeah, hard to say. Maybe a banana or maybe some Coke in the end. I was thinking about that, but yeah, some Coca-Cola always helps a little bit.
Bit of flat.
It's a nice little hit. Yeah.
Yeah. So I tried it too in training, and I liked it quite good, but only problem was I had like a new bottle, and it was a lot of
it's really fizzy.
Yeah, so everything came out of the bottle, and I had like running. And it was a little bit sticky after that. So yeah, that was annoying. But if you prepare everything for it, and so it should be fine. Yeah. But I think I have to learn it in the first 100K too, to see really what I need and what I have to do for drinks, and it depends on the weather. If it's really, really warm, you have to drink so much more water. If you have like a 10 degrees race, so that's will be tough too. So yeah. So
I think that's one of the biggest difficulties I have when I'm doing both my long runs and also the ultra trails. It's making sure that I'm eating enough, because you don't feel hungry when you're out and about and running around, but your body is obviously crying out for nutrients. But yeah, eating for me is the biggest problem, and it's a massive part of my training as well, learning how to eat while I'm out running on the trails.
We met at sub 7, sub 8. What was that experience like for you?
Oh yeah, it was. It was a really, really nice. So I never been really to a triathlon event. It was like not the usual triathlon event, I know that, but so it was like was really nice. So like I only got like 1 week prior. I got a call. So like, can you pace? And I want to go to training camp. Yeah, there's nobody else. Okay, I do it.
You were going to a training camp in
St. Moritz. Yeah, I wanted to go in St. Moritz on the Wednesday before the event, and then I switched hours. So I went on Sunday after the event. So on the event, I ran on lunch. I paced the marathon. And then like 4 hours later, I hopped into the car and drove 8 hours to St. Moritz.
Mental.
Now, what sort of sensational difference from your perspective is running a marathon at your PB or your average pace, maybe 2:10 to 2:13, to then running what was it, a 2:38 with Joe?
Yeah, 2:36, sir. Yeah, 2:36.
Did you feel like you'd even broken a sweat?
Oh, I wasn't too much in shape there yet. So it was quite tough, and because of the fueling from Joe, I didn't fuel too much myself. So I think I had like one gel and like maybe like 500 milliliters of water.
And it was such a hot day.
28 degrees.
It was a really hot day.
So the first week in St. Moritz, I was really, really hit. So training was so hard the first week in St. Moritz because I was so tired, and yeah, it wasn't. So it's still hard. It's still 42 kilometers, and it's and we were always in the sun. So I also had a little bit of sunburn after.
Oh my goodness!
I think my favorite part of the whole event was the weed killer man. To be honest,
yeah,
keeping you guys wet.
That was really nice. Yeah. I wish I have that in the marathon, but yeah, we are not allowed.
No. Well, there's probably some people listening who are wondering what on earth is this sub 7, sub 8 that they're talking about. Maybe we should explain what that is, James.
Yeah, so in 2021, organization I was working for at the time put on an event to try and get 2 male and 2 female triathletes to go under the sub 8 and sub 7 barriers respectively. And Frank, and about a week and a half before the event, Alistair Brownlee, who was going to be racing it to try and get sub 7, actually had to pull out because of an injury. And so then an athlete I was associated with at the time, Joe Skipper, he got called, drafted in with a week's notice to try and do the event in Ali's place. And I was under pressure very quickly to try and find paces and people to work for him. So I reached out. I reached out to Hoka, who would Joe's sponsor, and also happened to sponsor Frank, and said, do you know anybody in Germany who might be able to step in and give us a hand? So then I think Chris gave you a call, didn't he? And then you were on the phone a couple of days later. And
like 1 week before Saturday evening, I got a call from him. Can you pace next week? And and I so like, where is it? And then he said like Lausitz Ring, and it was only 1.5 hours drive from me. So it is not too far away where I live now. And so yeah.
And when he first said, "Can you pace?" were you like, "I'm not in shape to pace a marathon." And he's like, "Don't worry, it's a triathlete. They run really slowly."
No, he said to me, "It's how fast I have to go approximately." I know I am not in shape, but usually if you like pacing, your own adrenaline level is really, really high too. So like I'm usually more. So I usually have more pressure when I pace than when I run myself, because like
interesting.
You have to. So I did like 15 marathons in competition, and I'm not as nervous anymore before it. And so like, but if I pace and somebody has to depend on me, and I have to hit the pace and everything, it's like a little bit more pressure than when I run myself. Because when I run myself, like it's my own choice how fast I run, and I know what I can do, and then I can go, and I'm not as nervous as when I have to pace.
I hear that. I paced Maria to her half marathon PB earlier in the year, and the pressure was weighing on me throughout the whole event.
Yeah.
And that was what triggered my injury. So I think running at someone else's pace can be a bit tricky sometimes. But no, we had Alex Dowsett on my other podcast after the event to talk about it and to debrief. And he was a big Frank fan. He said Frank was so useful and so helpful the whole weekend. You got a week's notice. You got stuck in, and you were just there. It was good fun, eh?
Yeah.
It was an impressive weekend, and watching all of those athletes, it's quite inspiring. Yeah, superhumans.
You're a pro marathon runner. You're stepping up to 100K distance. Are you also a fan of the sport? Do you geek out at pro running? Do you watch it when you're not at events? Do you watch marathons and stuff like that?
Yeah, I'm from a family who did track and field. So my father is a coach or a track and field coach. He's not my coach, but he was my coach until I was 15. And so we grown up with watching track and field on TV. So like, yeah, so like I'm a big fan of like track and field or athletics, or how you want to call it. Yeah. So
how far away do you think are we from seeing that sub-2 barrier be broken in competition?
I think it's not too far away. So like it could happen this year. It could happen next year. So like, yeah, if the conditions are great, maybe in Berlin, maybe in Valencia or something, and they have good paces and a good race, I think it's already beatable. So like now it's
And does that rest on the shoulders of Kipchoge, or do you think there are a group of athletes that are capable of that?
Yeah, I think there could be like one or two or three more who probably can do it at some point. So maybe Kipchoge is not the best anymore. So he's 40 years old now. So it's not too easy anymore for him too. And so like we will see if he come back. He's always good for a surprise too. So like we will see how fast he will go. He already said he's going to run Berlin. So yeah, we will see. I think it's definitely beatable in the next years. Yeah. So like, I think it's good. Big contribution are the carbon shoes now. So like, I'm from a time where there were no carbon shoes. so I started marathon running in 2009. So there was like normal shoes. You had to do 40K runs and everything. And now it's like the time is now like, the people with the shoes, you can push yourself a little bit more. It's a little bit more relaxed, everything in the training, and so I think the shoes contribution is really, really big too now. So like, yeah.
And I assume that from your perspective, the Hoka carbon shoes are the best.
Yeah. So I ran in Berlin. I ran PB with Rocket X2 in Berlin. Nice. So everything went out there. So yeah.
I love Hokas. I've just got some brand new Hoka Mafati 4s, and they're amazing. I took them out for the first trail run this morning. It's epic. I do love Hoka.
You can't tell us where or when the marathon is going to be in the fall because you haven't decided yet. But can you tell us where your 100K race is going to be? Have you mentioned that?
That's probably in Austria. So I didn't register yet for the race yet, or I didn't ask. So. But it's the only date where I think it's possible to do for the marathon and everything that I can. It's in Austria, like a little bit in the vicinity of Vienna.
Yeah.
So,
nice.
Yeah. So yeah, this is a really small race. I think it's national champs for Austria, and so it's not too far away from me. So I said, okay, that is a good day to pick if I run the 100K in fall. Yeah.
Nice practice 100K.
And so how long until you decide that you want to come and join us and do an ultra marathon on the trails, Frank? Is that ever going to happen?
I think it's never going to happen. So
Not
problem
even in the sunset of your career when you're retiring and you skip along to turn
my
up at the.
big problem is I'm so bad at uphill running.
Are you?
Yeah, so I'm from a place where everything is flat. So I never have hills. I never went too much hills, and so I have so much problems. Like I earlier this morning, there was a British guy here who was training, and we went up a small hill, and I showed him a loop, and he destroyed me on the hill. Like normal running up, and I'm so bad at it.
But that's the beauty of trail running, though. When you get a big climb, you can walk it. It's fine.
Yeah.
You don't have to run up.
Problem is, like, I'm always did like competitive sports.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And I always want to beat or do my best and want to beat like personal best and everything. And so trail running, I have to learn uphill running probably to do it. So like, yeah.
Yeah, it's a completely different it's different training, it's different mindsets. Yeah. Yeah. There's not so much speed in trails.
Well, mate, it's been a pleasure. But at this point in every interview, it's the most important part of every interview. We ask anybody who comes on the podcast to offer up a song that they like to train to or race to or inspires them, and we'll add it to the Get Out in It playlist on Spotify. So what do you like to train to, mate?
Ooh, so I'm a guy who doesn't run much with music. So I do 250 kilometers, no headphones at all or anything, because I don't like it if there are not many. I don't get it when somebody's coming from behind me or anything. So, but I would say a good song I like is like Ordinary-ish People from AJR.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I think that would be my favorite, but yeah, I don't train much to music because I don't like the headphones in my ears.
No, but I can't imagine when you say you don't like hearing people come up behind you. I can't imagine many people are coming up behind you.
Yeah,
at
probably
the sort
not
of
many
pace
people
that you're running.
Yeah, I'm a bicycle sometimes, or cars, or anything.
Yeah.
Or a weed killer man.
Yeah, or the week.
All right, well, Frank, it's been an absolute pleasure, mate. I've really enjoyed this chat, and
Me too.
I hope you go from success to success, having got over your injury period, and I hope you take to the 100K distance. I will be paying close attention, my friend.
I can't wait to see how that goes for you next year. That's amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you that I could join, and yeah, so thanks.
The debrief.
The emphasis was correct, I feel.
Okay.
So what do you think of Frank then?
I like Frank. He's quite funny. Although
He shot on your bonfire a bit, didn't he?
he did a little bit. What a bastard. 2 times 15K a day. Fuck off, Frank. There's me with my 10K a day thinking I'm all crazy and like, yeah, what a challenge. And he's like, nah, mate. Nah, it's fuck all. Cheers, Frank.
2 times 15K
Apart
a day
from that,
will be next
Apart from
year's
that.
challenge, I think, won't it?
I mean, we'll see.
Next
we
August.
shall see.
Next August. Early morning 15K and a late afternoon 15K. Yeah, I really enjoyed the chat with Frank. He's like the personification of energy, that man. He brings a happy, bouncy energy to every conversation he's in. When I met him at the sub 8 challenge, which we described in the interview, it was a last minute thing when I got in touch with Hoka, who sponsor him, and drafted him in with 4 or 5 days notice to come and pace for Joe Skipper. And I was a bit concerned as to what kind of person was going to turn up, because pacing isn't just about, in that environment, pacing somebody for that sort of race isn't just about being able to run the pace. Do you know what I mean? You have to have someone who can gel with the athlete and who understands the project and understands the problems that athlete's going to face, and also some of the things that they can do to assist that aren't just pacing, some of the gelling with the team that are part of that environment and helping as much as they can. And I couldn't have, if I designed a human to turn up with 4 days notice to be part of that team, to be part of that environment, Frank would have been it, because he just got stuck in. He was awesome. He got on with everybody. He helped out. He did so much in pre-race build-up, but also on race day itself. Outside of his pacing, he was assisting with bottles of water for the bike teams. He was in there getting his hands dirty, and it was great.
Nice. Ah, that's cool. It doesn't surprise me because he did strike me as that kind of person when we were having a hike and a chat with him just a minute ago. Do you think him and Joe were having like little chats and stuff, bit of a gossip as they were running around that marathon track?
I don't think so. I
Okay.
think the technical term for where Joe was is on the rivet that day, and he
On the
was
rivet? What
he
does that
was.
mean?
It means that he was on the edge of what he could do. It's an old
Ah,
cycling term from back in the day when bike saddles used to have a rivet in the front of them, and if you were on the rivet, you were right on the edge of the saddle, pushing as hard as you could.
okay. Fair enough.
And so it's carried through the decades, and now it just means you are fucked.
Yeah, it's quite a quite a big day out that day for those people.
Yeah, indeed. But much more to come from Frank. I mean, the fact that he's stepping up to the 100K distance, I think, is awesome.
That's very exciting, actually. That's quite cool.
And the fact that we are breaking that news to the wider world, because this is his announcement platform. So
Are we? Did we just drop a fucking scoop?
we
Is
got
this
a
a
scoop.
scoop? Is this a scoop
Yeah.
episode?
We got a scoop. We've just had the soon to be 100K world champion on the podcast.
Didn't
You did that super high pitch thing again that the microphone can't pick up.
pick up.
Yeah.
Amazing.
That's better.
So yeah, I liked Frank. He was good fun and absolutely adored the way he pronounced Achilles. Absolutely loved that. Ah, I love our European friends. Fuck you, Brexit. I love
There.
Europe and all our European friends.
Indeed. The only message I would leave Frank to take away with him is, mate, do some strength work for God's sake, and run some trails, man. It's good for stability and balance and all those get out of that forward plane and get some different movement planes on.
Yeah, I think if he's going to start doing super mega ultra long distances like 100K, he'll find the trails. Because like if you're going to be doing those distances, it's got us to be on the trails, surely.
I can't imagine running 100K on a road or on a loop. And because
It makes me feel really sick.
Didn't you say it
a
would be
loop,
80
yeah.
loops?
80 loops around a lake. Oh, it makes me feel a little bit sick. No.
Yeah, I mean that's quite a fast loop, isn't it? I mean it's a huge amount smaller than the Lac de Sapin loop, which is
Yeah, what did he say? It's like
4K?
1.8 Ks, I think he said, something like that.
And someone like Frank is covering that in 4.5, 5 minutes. So he's looping hard.
That's insane. Because didn't he say he'd complete the whole thing in like 6 hours?
Something like that, yeah.
You know.
Something insane like that.
Uh
But also I think on the topic of long runs, I want to give a shout out to Mark/John and Jen, who were on the podcast last week, because they did their ultra on the Saturday after we recorded.
yeah, they totally did. Yeah,
they finished strong. And big shout out to Jen specifically for her
that was her first ultra.
first ever ultra, and for doing as well as she did.
Nice work, Jen.
I think it was like 15 and a half or 16 and a half hours. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it was something and a half. One of those 2.5. So well done to them.
Nice. But 15 and a half hours.
Yeah.
Nice. How long? What was the distance?
No, hang on. No, it wasn't
No,
15 and a half hours
That
at
can't
all.
be right. It was 50. It was
yeah.
50K.
I've completely invented that. It certainly wasn't 15 and a half hours. It was something and a half.
5.5, 6.5.
It was like 6.5 or 7.5 or something like that. They paced themselves to be on the hour or to be just south of the hour, but it went over a little bit towards the end when it got to the sort of, the pointy end where things start to hurt a little bit more than they should.
You should have fucking checked your fucking notes before you started recording.
Yeah, I really should have done. I really threw them under the bus then, didn't I? 50K ultra in 15 and a half hours, maybe 16 and a half. Who knows? Anyway, good work, John. Good work, mate.
John.
I haven't,
John.
I haven't stopped,
John.
I haven't stopped chuckling about that all week. I keep re-listening to that section.
Oh my God. I was probably thinking of Jen, but then knowing that the story related to a bloke, and I was like, Jen's not a bloke's name. So I said John. I don't know.
I loved that
John?
moment. Best moment so far, I think.
Anyway, moving on.
What should we do now?
Coffee?
Good idea. It's my round, I think, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Better be a good one. The weekly roast. Is that it?
Challenge accepted, motherfucker. Because as is always the case, I have stepped up to the plate. I haven't just gone down to Moxa and got a different one, which seems to be your play.
So many. They're fine. It's fine. I've got many more coffees to get through from Moxa.
In honor of Frank and the fact that he's from Germany, I popped over to Berlin.
Did ya?
I did. And I visited the 5-Elephant Roasterie in Berlin.
I don't believe you.
I did. And I picked up something called the Kenya Nandi Hills Espresso Roast.
Is that because you also went to Kenya to do some training and stuff?
Exactly, but it gets better than that. It gets better than that. Because
Did Frank roast this coffee?
Because I was drawn in by the fact it was Kenya. So I was like, obviously
Yeah.
he trains in Kenya. So, brilliant. Berlin, Kenya. But then this producer is a beneficiary of the Growing Women in Coffee project. Throughout this project, men who belong to Kuubu started giving their wives and some youth a few coffee bushes that they would maintain and harvest as their own. With time, the project saw the women attain more economic independence and a sense of self-confidence as they received other forms of training from the Climate Academy. Over the years, the cooperative now has women in leadership positions, improved the coffee remarkably, and it is known as the home of the champions in elite long-distance running in Kenya. Nandi County is home to many world record holders in the sport of running. The coffee cherries are carefully handpicked, sorted, then soaked in fermentation tanks overnight. It's then dried in an elevated drying beds under the sun during the heavy rains in greenhouse-like sheds. Now, I love this.
That's quite the essay.
Yeah, we got Berlin.
Yeah.
We got Kenya.
Yeah.
We've got improving the lives of women in Kenya.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got elite running champions from the
long distance runners
from the area that this coffee is made from. Now, this particular roast is tastes of goji berries, candied apple, and hibiscus.
Crazy flavors for coffee.
Yeah, what do you think of it?
Pretty nice.
Yeah. No.
Don't believe you went to Germany, but yeah, it's a nice cup of coffee.
I didn't go. I popped over. Popped over.
See, this is the thing. I actually physically go into places and source my actual coffee beans and then grind them at my house, make coffee and drink it. I don't think you actually go to places like Berlin, Hawaii, America, all these other places you've sourced, air quotes, your coffee from. I think you cheat, Bale.
No.
Bale, you're a cheater. You're a coffee cheater.
I climb into the get out in it electric helicopter and it takes me to these places because we wouldn't want to affect the environment by flying short distances using fossil fuels, would we now? And the electric helicopter is powered purely by solar panels, by the way, before anybody jumps on me about electricity.
Okay, I feel like we've gone off on a really weird, like, alternate dimension tangent.
Shall we, while we're enjoying this incredibly soft and aromatic coffee that I sourced from Berlin, shall we take a moment to be honest? Let's be honest.
Honesty. What's my honesty? So honesty is it's nice to be running every single day. After a July of zero training and what felt like hardly any movement, it's really, really nice to be back outdoors and doing some running. It's not long distance. It's just 10K. But I think that's enough. That's enough of a distance, I think, to do every day.
It's not an inconsequential distance. You know, some people are building to 5K. Although I know that you're a seasoned runner, an ultra marathoner. 10K is still not an inconsequential distance when you're doing it every single day.
Mm, yeah, that's what I'm starting to notice, I think, because running it, I'm keeping an eye on my heart rate and making sure that my average heart rate stays in the 120, so it's really, really low. Because, Garmin is already absolutely shitting kittens at me at the moment. I'm not having a fucking rest day. Fuck off, Garmin. Overreaching. Anyway, um, so it's really, really nice to be out every single day. It takes me just over an hour, about an hour and 10 minutes to do my 10K. And I've settled on my route now. It's a 5K trail, 5K road route, which is really, really, really nice.
So are you going to do the
Um,
same route every single day?
yeah, I mean, I might mix it up a little bit because the first 3 days I did three different 10K routes and like trying to come up with a different 10K route every day. It's like, fuck's sake. Do you know what I mean? It's a lot. So I think because this is exactly 10Ks, I've nailed it. It's exactly 10Ks when I do this 5K trail, 5K road route. And then I get back to my house. So it's kind of perfect. Whereas on the others, the first 3 days, I'd kind of just gone out without thinking about it. And then my 10K finished and I had like 15-minute walk home. So, which is all right for a cool down, but I also wanted food. So walking home for 15 minutes was a bit of a ball ache. So yeah, I think I've settled on this. Um, but then when I go to the UK, obviously it will be different 10K circuits because I'm not gonna pop back to France every day to do my same 10K
I mean,
circuit. That would be mental, regardless of the fact that we've got a solar powered electric helicopter,
it's going to be a
apparently.
bit, it's going to be, the 10K is going to be a bit brutal, to be honest. There's
What, in the
hills.
UK?
Yeah, there's hills.
There's hills where I live, mate. There's
Yeah, but
loads of fucking hills.
not like this.
I think I can manage, thanks.
Yeah, no, I must say I'm pretty impressed so far with how this is shaking out. Um your robustness and resistance to injury, I think,
Well,
is
you say
set.
that. I rolled my ankle today, so
Yeah, well, that's different, isn't it? That was more of a you ran out of talent rather than getting injured.
Yeah, I
Do you know what I
can't
mean?
can't believe that. Yeah. Although I will say, running through the forests in the summer is like obviously if you're not paying attention to the countryside because you've just caught sight of the river and you're like, oh, river looks nice, and then you trip. But also when you're in the forest in the summer, it's a bit weird because it's like most of the time you're running in shadow, but then there'll be like a gap in the canopy and you'll be blinded for like 2 seconds because the sunlight is coming through.
So did you
So yeah,
fall over when you rolled your ankle?
no, 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 just rolled it and then was
And
like,
how long did you
motherfucker.
have left to run at that point?
7Ks. It was
Okay,
right
so
at the
you
beginning of
so
my
you walked
fucking
it off.
run.
You walked it off and then carried on.
Um, no, I just carried straight on. I rolled it and I was
Okay.
like, that's a dick move. And then just carried on running. I was
Okay,
on an
so
uphill.
so it
I
wasn't a
fell uphill. Twat. Yeah.
fell
I
uphill.
fell.
Good lord. So it was it wasn't
Uh,
it wasn't too dramatic an injury. You weren't limping around in pain.
no,
It was more
no,
okay.
no.
What I was particularly impressed with today, if I'm honest,
Mm,
because we're recording on a Saturday, was that you did a run late Friday night. Because so far, up until yesterday, all your runs had been in the morning.
yeah.
And I'd said, my little bit of advice, which, you're welcome to take or not, was do as many of your runs at the start of this thing in the morning as possible so that when you do finally decide to do one in the evening, it's like, it feels like a real break.
Mm.
And so I think it was the fourth day, you were like, oh, I can't do it in the morning. It was raining or something.
It was raining, and also I had noticed for the first 3 days, right? I do my run in the morning, get home, have my shower, and then we're like, oh, it's nearly lunchtime. I'm gonna cook, ate fuck tons of food, and then like slept for 3 or 4 hours and wasted the day. So I was like, no, I can't keep doing this, which is why I ran yesterday evening so that my nap happened at bedtime,
Yeah.
and then
So
I just slept through.
what impressed me was that you did that evening run, and then you didn't just flick to evenings, because that's what was concerned to me, is that you would then be like, oh, I don't want to run the next morning, and then you'd start, just it would become an evening thing. But you flick back to the morning, and I was impressed with that.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, I do like the evening run. It means I get other stuff done because I've set myself another crazy challenge for August as well. I need to stop doing these things. To write the first draft of 100,000 word book, which is about 4,000 words a day. So I'm running 10K a day and writing 4,000 words a day. It's a lot. So really, having a 3 or 4 hour nap because I had an early morning run isn't going to cut it. So I don't know. I think maybe next week I might do evening runs just so that I get my fucking work done
I mean,
without sleeping the day away.
a
But we'll
nap
see. It's going to be
a
hot
nap
next week.
a nap is a choice.
No, not with my body. No,
Yeah.
it
All
just
right.
stops. No, it is instant sleep. But enough about me, James Bale. What about you? What's your let's be honest?
Well, I'm very excited right now,
Mm-hmm.
because, as you know, as everybody who
Mm.
listens to the podcast regularly knows, I've been suffering with quite a severe hip injury, and it is still quite debilitating. But things have been improving. Little things that you don't notice, or you do notice when you pay a lot of attention, like walking up the stairs. And now I'm now doing it equally balanced on either side. I'm not compensating at all. I'm not doing a little mini jump every time I try to use the bad leg off the good leg. Um, and running has improved. The duration that I can run for has improved. The discomfort is still there, but the duration I can run for till I get to that discomfort is getting larger. So when I got back from my travels the other day, I went to see my physio, who is really quite knowledgeable when it comes to exercise recovery and rehabilitation, but also strength
Mm.
training as well. And my intention was to say, look, this 80-kilometer ultra in October, it means a lot to me. It's something that I'm emotionally collected to, and I'd really like to try and do it. What do you think my chances are? Before I could get those words out of my mouth, she said, well, how are things? I took her through it, and she said, right, okay, we need to start stepping things up now if we're going to get you to that 80K ultra. So it wasn't even a question that I asked. It came from her. And I feel like I've been given permission to take the gloves off now and get all rocky fucking montage for the next couple of months and get myself ready for this race. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be hard, and it's going to be a journey, because at the moment it still hurts. Still hurts when I run. Still hurts when I do weight training. It's still a problem, and a debilitating problem. But I am going to do everything I possibly can to be on that start line. And it has enthused me. I'm excited by the challenge and everyone loves a comeback, don't they? Hey?
It's very cool news. It's very exciting.
I feel I
Um,
need a theme tune or something, you know?
yeah, something from a shitty 80s action movie, something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, yeah, something
Yeah,
like that. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I was expecting you to sort of propose the Benny Hill music or something.
that would work. No, that's really cool news. I'm super excited. Um,
Yes. I'm going
yeah.
to be doing a lot of hill repeats as well, because I'm much more comfortable running uphill than I am downhill or on the flat. And that's because of the nature of the hip flexor and the nature of the injury and where you position your body when you're doing those various things. Uphill is the comfort zone. I can run uphill all day. I've always loved running uphill. And with this specific injury, my body will allow me to do that. So I'm going to do a lot of hill repeats. And I've started going up through the gears with the weights as well. I'm not deadlifting or squatting anywhere near as much as I used to before the injury, but low weight and with a sort of 10 to 12 rep range times three. And yeah, it's feeling like things are moving in the right direction, and I'm enthused by the challenge.
Cool. Oh, that's really, really good news.
And it does mean that you won't be racing alone.
I won't have to go solo. Yeah, that was a bit of a mind fuck.
I was concerned, if we're going to go down the let's be honest pathway,
Mm.
I was concerned when I got the news that I was given permission from my physio, who I trust, exercise rehabilitation specialist, I think is actually her professional title, that I could do this. I was concerned that you had now gone full circle and set your mind on doing it as a solo challenge, and you were going to be sort of not irritated, but kind of like, oof, that was going to be a not a problem, but like a mental adjustment.
Uh, um, nah, it's fine.
There you go.
Welcome back. The only thing that is concerning me is like, because last year, fuck's sake, around K35 or something, didn't your knees blow up and we had to walk the rest of the way? It was such a ball ache. So, like,
Do better is what you're saying, isn't it?
do better.
Do better.
Stop fucking braking halfway around the course. And
Oh, my
just
athletic age is like 76, though. Yours is toddler. But I mean, to give me some credit, wasn't there a really heroic last 5K to drag us across the line last year?
what that run downhill
Yeah,
so that we could beat that French guy.
yeah.
Yeah, who got us
Dropped him.
lost in like K10.
Yeah. Dropped him like
Bastard.
he was standing still.
Yeah,
I think we put 40
yeah.
minutes into him over 5K, didn't we?
We did. We broke
Yeah,
him.
yeah. It was good. It was good. I enjoyed that a lot. Looking at that finish line sheet and seeing that we were together with 5K to go, and then he was finished 40 minutes behind us. I was just like,
We
yes,
sound like
have
such
it.
dicks right now.
So we put some music on and forget about it.
Yeah, totes. Let's do that. Turn it up.
That'll probably do, won't it? Go first.
Right. I am going back to a little bit of Oh the Larceny, because I'm back out running, and this is just great music to run to. And the one I've picked for today is from their 2017 EP, also called Oh the Larceny, called Light That Fire, because it's our tagline.
It is indeed, isn't it? Exactly.
Oh
And
no,
that's
here comes my cat. Oh no, he's gonna scratch me.
and that's where the tagline came from. That
Yeah,
song. So
yeah,
it's good that it's now on the playlist because it should be. I'm
it should
interested.
be.
I'm interested with this 10K a day that you're doing.
Yeah.
Are you running to music, or are you going out au natural?
I've been forced to run without music because I accidentally left my fucking headphones at my bro's house a couple of weeks ago. Like a dick.
I forgot about
And
that.
yeah, and there was one day that I tried to run. I hunted down my old headphones, with bits of string
Mm,
that you plug into your phone.
they're so annoying.
So annoying. So annoying. So I think I managed about 10 minutes with that. And then I
I
ripped
don't
them out
have
in
the
annoyance and shoved the earphones in my pocket.
I don't have the shape in one of my ears to hold them in. So whenever I have to try and run with those old in-ear things, one of them always falls out. It does my head
Yeah.
in. And then I keep catching it on things and pulling them, and then they come
Yeah,
out.
it was
Okay,
annoying because I was
can't be doing with
running
it.
and I kept catching the fucking stringy bits in my hands. And also one of them, one of the ear bits wasn't working. So I just had music going into one ear and it was like, this was fucking pointless. Absolutely
Yeah.
fucking pointless. So I took them off. And yeah, so all this week I've been running without headphones. But I did pop over to my bros today and I've got my headphones back.
There you go.
So that's good.
And a nice lunch out to go with it.
Yeah. Had a
There you
nice
go.
little vegan burger.
Cool.
Yeah.
My turn, eh?
Yeah. What's your music?
Well, I thought, because I'm going to be increasing my running a little bit, there's going to be a lot of uphill running.
You've chosen the Rocky theme tune, haven't you?
No, I haven't. I've chosen the song Running Up That Hill by Kate Bush from the 1985 album Hounds of Love. 1985 being the year I was born.
1985. Jesus Christ.
There you go.
Mm.
And it's a
I was
brilliant.
about 67 in 1985.
Yeah, well, you're aging backwards, aren't you? So
And
yeah,
you mean a button.
Running Up That Hill is a brilliant track to train to. It's often used in sports montages and stuff. It's a very good song, and Kate Bush is quite the artist.
Nice. All right. That's two very, very random tracks along with Frank's. It's quite the mix for the
I can't
Spotify
remember
playlist.
what Frank's was. Did you know what Frank's, when he said it, did you know what the song was?
Never heard of it.
No, neither did I. And I had to do the old, oh, well, yeah, brilliant choice. That sounds good. We'll add it to the playlist.
Interesting.
Thanks for that, Frank.
Yeah. No, I'm very blinkered when it comes to music. I like my bands, and that's it.
You like your bands.
I like
Yeah,
my
'cause,
bands.
I mean, we are rotating, aren't we, in your world? We've got Disturbed, Oh, the Larceny, Prodigy. Who is the Mountain? Who did that?
3 Days Grace.
3 Days Grace and the
Get it?
Cause. Those are your
The Cause.
five.
Yeah.
And we're almost rotating back to the Cause now, aren't we?
No, they're a surprise pop song. I've got another couple of different surprise pop songs to add to the list. But
I'm
like,
gonna add my favorite surprise pop song next week.
yeah.
It is my personal favorite pop song, and it's going in next week.
Okay, cool.
So hold on to your hats, it's coming.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you hear my cat?
Only just, but you know.
Okay.
Is he being violent?
He wants to be, but he's being a little bit too lazy.
Okay. But I mean, that's probably about it from us, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. I think we've covered all the main salient points.
So it's been a pleasure. And
Yeah.
if you want to find out more, head to www.getoutinit.events. There's loads of info on there. You can sign up for the newsletter, download the personal development friend, and book a free consultation with us to discuss your health and fitness journey and the roadmap to get there. If you like the podcast, we would really appreciate it if you left a review, because it really helps with the algorithm, but also it helps with our egos as well, because we like to hear nice things.
Yeah, say nice things about us. We're nice people.
5-star review would be helpful as well.
That would be nice. But just 5-star reviews. Yeah, that's all we want. We don't want real, true 1-star. This is shit content reviews. Because that would not make our day.
Always a pleasure. Look after yourself.
Yeah, speak to you later. I mean, bye.
Thanks for hitting the trails with us this week. We'll meet you back here next Monday for more news, more views, more nature.
All the links for our socials are in the show notes. Find and follow us on Facebook, Insta, YouTube and Twitter. You can subscribe to our newsletter from our website for all the latest updates and camp plans. You get a fun free gift when you sign up.
Leave a review on your podcast app. It's really easy and really helps us out.
And if you've got any friends who could do with getting out in it, then bring them along to next week's outdoor adventure. We'd love to have you all with us.
Catch you next week. Cheerio.